We're approaching the halfway point of the season and starting to form one of those delicious little breakaway groups at the top of the league as we're starting to look a little bit more secure for one of these automatic promotion spots. Hello and welcome to part 107 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have two matches for you. Firstly at home against Oldham and then away against Notts County. Since you were last with me, form has been rather good. A weird 3-0 defeat against Southend side. I don't really know why that happened. I'm sure a tactical genius would be able to look into it. Maybe even from just that screen. Oh, here you go. Look, here's a better screen for you tactical geniuses. You tell me how I lost that game 3-0. And we'll have a little chat about it down in the comments. Don't really know what that was all about. But other than that, we have been looking good. We've got ourselves knocked out of the Checker Trade Mickey Mouse trophy, which is obviously important because no one wants to be in that nonsense. And we're looking good in the league as well. If we have a little look at the league table, we've closed that gap on QPR that we were talking about in the last video to just 2 points. And the gap behind us to McDonald's and Southend is 5 points now. So we're trying to establish a nice 6-point gap. I always think if you've got a 6-point lead at the halfway point of the season, you're pretty much there. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. Anything less than 6 points and there's still plenty of work to do. But if over the next 3 games we can get that out to a 6-point gap between us and McDonald's, then that would be really rather pleasant. Ideally, usurp QPR at the top of the league as well. And the good form has coincided with the establishment of a strike partnership. You'll see there's 2 very recurring names on this run of good form. Ollie Stainsby and Chris Ruggles are very much my front 2 now. We were talking in the last video how I wasn't sure who my starting strikers were. Now I'm sure. If we look at Stainsby first, he's now on 12 goals from 12 starts in the league, and his current form is a little bit ridiculous when it comes to goal scoring form. He's in the form of his life. But Chris Ruggles has also picked the pace up as well. He's on 12 goals from 15 starts. And again, a lot of that has come in this most recent run of form. So our front 2, injuries aside, is Ruggles and Stainsby for the foreseeable. And this is the team that we're putting out there for today's game. So we've got Hugo in goal, a back 4 of Taylor, Hughes, Flores and Lang, with Davies, Johnson and Ball in midfield, and then Richardson in behind Ruggles and Stainsby. Let's get into the game, and hopefully we can continue the good form that those 2 strikers were in towards the end of last week. I've got a little plaster on my finger as well. It's a baked bean injury, which if I'd have stuck to my 100 days of real food that I was doing before this little week off that I've just had, wouldn't have been having baked beans. So that's proof that junk food is literally bad for you, because I've cut my finger. I wasn't even opening a tin of beans. The beans were just there and I was putting it in the bin. Proof that tidying up's bad. So there was an open tin of beans, went to put them in the bin and then pushed the bin down, the stuff in the bin down the way you do when you're too lazy to empty the bin. And at that point sliced my finger. So loads of blood everywhere. Is that enough to get me demonetised on this video? Probably. Right, who are we playing? Oldham. They're in behind, but it's a pretty poor shot. And we survive that one. We've not had the most lively of starts. Only 1 shot in the first 15 minutes or so. But we are starting to establish a bit more possession now. So hopefully the shots are coming. And here's Johnson in midfield, playing it to Ball, to Richardson, back to Lang. Time for a big deep cross. There it is, aimed towards Ruggles, who nods it down to Johnson. It's now with Davies. We're retaining the ball really nicely here. And Davies plays it through to Ruggles, who tucks it in at the near post. And 20 minutes on the clock, and we're top of the league. Nuneaton 1, Oldham 0. QPR still not ahead in their game. So as things stand, we are going to end this match top of the league. Obviously, reliant on us maintaining this and QPR. You know what I mean. We're 20 minutes in. We're probably not going to stay top of the league unless QPR continue to bottle it. They're on a little bit of a bottle job run at the moment. I was trying to see what they were doing. Oh, Hugo, what are you doing? I mean, he did save the initial effort and we didn't concede from it, so we can't blame him too much. Hugo was getting a little bit of heat on Friday, despite the fact that I thought he played really well in both of the matches on Friday's episode, and actually he's been playing really well ever since. He had that terrible debut, which I think has tainted people's views of him a little bit, but ever since then, he's been a fairly solid keeper, and I think he's one of the better keepers that we've had in this save so far. Obviously, it helps that he's playing in a league he's probably too good for, or at least he's playing at his level, unlike most of the keepers we've had previously who are playing above their level. Nadat playing in League 1 and League 2, and Mitchell, was it we had last year, playing in the Championship, although he's now gone to Newcastle, of course. Ball with the corner. It's a weird corner to Richardson, who does some kind of weird scissor kick, and it goes over. That looked like something fresh off the training ground. QPR have gone ahead in their game, so we're back down to second place. But I'm not concerned about QPR at the moment. I'm more looking over my shoulder at McDonald's and Southend and Barnsley, and really hoping that we can stretch out that 6 point plus gap. And as it stands, we are 7 points ahead of third place. Still 2 games away from the halfway point of the season as well. This is another one of Kev's laws, I think. But if we do get to game 23 and we're 6 points ahead, which we're now not because McDonald's must have gone ahead in their game, then we'll consider that promotion part 1 complete, and then we just need to not mess up. Richardson plays it through to Ruggles, and it's Stainsby now, and that was poor. Straight at the keeper. We were bigging up Ollie Stainsby before the match, and he's not really shown anything at all today. We have got Afsharian and Walker both there on the bench, and I think we're going to bring one of them on now. Ruggles is having a good game, but Stainsby, I think it's time for him to come off. So Afsharian comes on for him, and then we're going to take off. We're going to do a Kev triple. We're going to take off Richardson and Ball because neither of them are playing well either. This is why we're not thumping this team, because all of our more creative attacking players haven't really turned up today. So Richardson can come off for Lashley and Ball can come off for Barber. And we just have complete change in personnel in the 3 weakest attacking areas. And hopefully we can start to convert some of this dominance into a couple more goals, because we've had 60% of the possession, 15 shots to their 4. They've only had 1 shot on target in the entire game. We should be more than 1 goal up, and it's Ruggles in a wide area, plays it back to Davis, down to Johnson, who had a weird shot from range that almost snuck in, and we've won a corner off the back of it, and it was Afsharian to take, and it eventually falls to Johnson, but it is cleared. That was a weird shot from Johnson before. I don't really know what that was all about, but it seemed to confuse their keeper more than anything, despite never looking particularly threatening. Flores and Hugo, they get some stick, but they were fully in control of that all the way through. And now Oldham come at us again, and there's Lee Weaver, of course, who scored against us on the first game of the season when we beat Oldham 6-3 away from home. Nunes. Why do I keep calling him Nunes? That's not his name. He's Flores. He's played for us for 3 years, and I've now started calling him something wrong. Lashley with a massive miss. That's our 3rd clear-cut chance of the game, and very wasteful again. We do need to keep an eye on Lee Weaver at the other end for Oldham, who probably fancies a last-minute winner, and here's his opportunity for it. We've actually gone past our time added on, and we have picked up a really boring 1-0 win, which, I mean, we should have won that game comfortably. We've made harder work of that than we need to, but now we're playing a relegation-threatened Notts County, and hopefully we'll see a few goals in that one. Go on then, own up. How many of you knew when I said Stainsby and Ruggles were the partnership for the foreseeable future? How many of you knew they wouldn't even start together in the second game? I didn't know, but looking back, I probably should have known. We've made quite a few changes for the Notts County game, just in the interests of trying to get some goals out there. So Barber starts, Ashfarian comes in for Stainsby, Ball moves into the attacking midfield position with Richardson dropping out of the team. We've also brought Ibrahim back in at right back. And hopefully that's just going to offer us a little bit more attacking oomph, because we just looked really oomphless against Oldham, and we've got a big squad of good players. Someone like Afsharian, we've talked about him before, about how he's scored 20 plus goals in the Championship before, and he's still only 22. So when you've got Stainsby who's had an off game like the one he's just had, let's get the lad in who's not really had much of an opportunity since he's been with us, because Stainsby and Ruggles have been playing so well. Afsharian's probably only started less than half a dozen games for us, and there's a goal after 2 minutes. Kev is vindicated, everybody. Stop typing. The hate crew, stop typing. See, I was right. This is where you're gonna find a reason why I was still wrong. But just like at the start of the last game, as it stands right now, we are top of the league. Obviously, we are relying on QPR slipping up if we are to stay there for the end of the episode. But we are comfortably better off than they are on goal difference, because when we win, we tend to win big. The Oldham game would possibly not have you believe that. But, oh, goodness me, 3 minutes on the clock and we've equalised. I'm not blaming Hugo for that. I'm done with blaming goalkeepers. I think that was just generally a little bit sloppy overall. We weren't really alive to it. It was the typical goal that you see us concede, where our defensive line's pushed up so high, exactly where I want it. I'm still not dropping them deep. And it was just the sort of goals that we're going to concede because of the way that we play. And I don't mind conceding those kind of goals because we score so many goals as a direct result of the fact that we do compress the play, we close down, we play a high tempo game. And it's a trade-off I'm willing to make. I've spent several seasons talking about what I could do to fix it, but I've now made peace with the fact that we are just going to concede goals from balls over the top sometimes. And if we're playing against a team who tactically figure us out, then we'll beat us. And so be it. We'll win more games than we lose. That's what's got us from the Conference North all the way up to where we are now. And yeah, sometimes we'll get relegated from the Championship. It might even happen again because, we're probably not going to be able to compete the next time we go up either, unless we get a huge chunk of cash thrown at us. But for now, I'll just accept that sometimes we'll concede that goal and bank on the fact that more often than not we'll score 3 or 4. And it doesn't matter if we concede 1 or 2 of those in a game. Although we seem to be struggling to create chances again today. But Afsharian plays Ruggles in, and that was a good effort from Ruggles. And because Afsharian had dropped so deep to create the chance, he wasn't there to act as the poacher and tuck it away. We really needed James Ball to be pushing on, but he wasn't there either. And there was a bit of from the rebound there, a big chance goes begging. We have only created the 1 clear-cut chance today. Both teams have. It's 1-1 for clear-cut chances and 1-1 for goals. So it looks like a completely fair game at the moment, but it doesn't tell the full story when we've had nearly 60% of the possession. And similar to the Oldham game, we should be creating more chances than we are. And I don't know, QPR winning 4-0 away from home against Rotherham. But I don't know if the fault lies with the midfield for not creating enough chances, or if the strikers have just slightly gone off the boil from where they were on that really good run that we were on. Because sometimes we were scoring more goals than chances created. I think they were just going through a purple patch. But let's mix things up again. Let's get Richardson back in behind the strikers. And we're going to bring on Dan Fisher for Ruggles. Neither Stainsby or Afsharian can really do the target man role, but Dan Fisher is still knocking around as well, so we'll bring him on to partner Afsharian. So actual real time in the video, what are we saying? 10 minutes since saying those two are my strike partnership going forward, and now neither of them are on the pitch. If you're new to the channel, get used to that kind of thing. That happens a lot. Right, ball over to Johnson. Forward to Davis, and now Fisher picking it up deep, back to Johnson again. We're retaining possession really well again. We just need to do something with it. And this is where we miss someone like a Skelton in midfield. Maybe Neil needs to come back in. We gave him a decent run at the start of the season, but he's kind of lost his place recently as part of that good run that we were on. But if the good run was largely because the strikers were scoring goals despite there not being many chances created, if they're now not doing that, perhaps we need someone who's going to burst through from midfield a little bit more. In fact, for the last 10 minutes, let's bring him on and do exactly that. Take Barber off, get Neil on in that Mazzala role that he was playing earlier on in the year, just to try and offer a little bit more from midfield. Yeah, I don't need another word there, Kev. I want a little bit more from my midfield. Hugo makes another good save, and Ibrahim lumps it forward towards the position where Neil would be if he was on the pitch, but I don't think he's on yet. If he is, he's out of position. And someone needs to have a word. Flores collects comfortably there. And we've got 5 minutes for this arrangement of players to do something. There's Neil in an attacking position, and he's made the run on. But Afsharian can't keep hold of it. But Neil already doing exactly what I was hoping for from him. And you don't necessarily get that from Barber in that position. That's a poor attempt at a challenge from Ibrahim. And we're now losing against a team who are down in the relegation zone. And QPR are going to start pulling out their little gap at the top of the league again. But we'd battled so hard to close that gap down, and now through it's the tackle there. I think that's Ibrahim. That's going to be Neil, isn't it? The guy I brought on to. I can't click on him now. It's Johnson. Don't really know why Johnson was there, but it was a poor attempt at a tackle from Johnson, and that's what's led to that goal. And now we need an equaliser. This isn't what I expected from today's episode. Neil can't get hold of the ball, and it's another big ball over the top, but this time Hugo does collect. And looking at the stats, Notts County deserve to beat us. Even a draw at this point would be us mugging them. Neil plays it forward towards Afsharian, can't get hold of it. We're doing a lot of nice passing around in deep areas, but we've not got that killer instinct at the moment, and we need to get it back. Afsharian. Fisher grabs the equaliser, and we are mugging them with a draw as it stands. And we've even got 3, 4, 5 minutes to go and grab a double mugging winner. And it is Dan Fisher combining with Afsharian. Again, I feel justified in the changes I've made. And Fisher's not going to miss from there. He's Dan Fisher, for goodness sake. And how long have we got? We want 5 or 6 minutes of added time now. 3 minutes isn't very much, but we have got the ball, and it's with Ibrahim, who plays it forward towards Neil. Ball over the top to Afsharian, who's in behind and should have scored. What a chance for Afsharian there, and that should have won us the game. Ibrahim to Johnson. We're going to have one more chance. It's Richardson, and he can't get hold of it, but it falls to Phil Ball, who panicked a little bit and just lumped it back forward, and half the team were offside, and it's ended 2-2, and that's probably a fair result. Well, it's not a fair result. We didn't deserve it, but we've got it, and we won't complain too much. Let's see what damage that's done to the league table, though. I don't think we're going to hit our 6 points by the halfway stage. Actually, we are dead on 6 points. Well, it's not the halfway stage yet. We've got one more game, but we've hit our 6 points gap at the moment. But I'm now starting to look up a little bit again and notice the 4 point gap between us and QPR. Obviously, it's job done if we get automatic promotion or promotion of any kind. But we'd kind of like to win the league again, like we did last time we were down in League One. There is work to do still. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.